resources while fostering inclusive economic growth. By encouraging investment in sustainable blue solutions, we contribute not only to ASEAN's economic resilience, but also to global environmental goals.
ASEAN Blue Innovation Expo and Business Matching
serves as a platform to advance these objectives through collaboration, innovation, and shared vision. Our audience for this event reflects a broad spectrum of expertise and commitment. In attendance will be the 60 award-winning innovators from the ABIC, alongside potential investors including venture capitals, development agencies, and impact investment firms, policymakers and government officials from across ASEAN, as well as industry leaders, private sector representatives, and development partners will also join. This diverse assembly is united by a commitment to advancing sustainable and responsible economic practices in ASEAN's marine and coastal regions. The event will inspire, connect, and showcase innovative blue solutions in a single impactful day. Today will begin with an inspirational talk setting the tone for creativity and vision in the blue economy. Then you will meet with 60 innovators as well as selected business partners and investors and hear about their challenges and solutions. Following this, a pitch session will feature 60 winners presenting their pioneering projects, creating opportunities for meaningful dialogue, collaboration, and investment. The event will conclude with business matching recognition, highlighting collaboration opportunities and fostering discussion on potential partnerships. You will also enjoy public exhibition, where attendees can explore the innovative ideas and solutions from the 60 ABIC winners. Discover cutting-edge innovations, meet the people driving change, and gain insights into their transformative work. Together, we'll shape a sustainable and inclusive future for the blue economy. This is more than an event, it's a movement. Be part of it. Together, we are embarking on a journey to ensure a sustainable and prosperous future for ASEAN's blue economy. Through collective action and dedicated investment, we can advance innovations that will safeguard our shared marine resources, uplift our communities, and contribute to a sustainable future for generations to come. We look forward to welcoming you in February 2025 as we set sail toward a resilient and inclusive ASEAN blue economy. Together, let's blue our world.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ASEAN Blue Innovation Expo and Business Matching. Before we begin, we kindly ask you to divert your attention to the screen for our safety briefing.
Welcome to the safety induction of Assembly Hall, Menara Mandiri, Sudirman, Jakarta. This is all of the safety infrastructure that we have in this floor. This is your current location in the 10th floor of the Assembly Hall. This is part of the exit door on the 10th floor, so in the north and two in the south. This is all the emergency exit at the 10th floor. And this is all the sprinkler that we have in the 10th floor. This is all the hydrant that we have in the 10th floor. And this is the 6 units of fire extinguisher that we have in the 10th floor. This is the location of assembly point. And that was the safety induction of this hall. Thank you very much for your attention.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the ASEAN Blue Innovation Expo and Business Matching. Let's give a round of applause to everyone who is here today and also those joining us online. Please allow me to give a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, His Excellency Mr. Satvinder Singh, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for ASEAN Economic Community, His Excellency Mr. Kia Masahiko, Ambassador of Japan to ASEAN, His Excellency Mr. Kjell Tormod Petersen, Ambassador of Norway to ASEAN, Mr. Norimasa Shimomura, Resident Representative UNDP Indonesia, a familiar face here, of course. Also, we welcome Ms. Joanne Tan, Chair of the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, joining us online today. Ms. Sinta Wekamdani, Indonesia Employers Association, APindo, and also CEO of Sintesa Group. Mr. Doni Dono Saputro, Cluster CEO Indonesia and ASEAN Markets of Standard Chartered. Mr. Ashish Kapahi, Chief Executive Officer of ASEAN Economic Forum. Welcome to all our speakers and also our panelists. And of course, a special greeting to all the 60 ABIC winning team who are here. Can I see your hands? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And also, of course, to all the audience who are here with us at the Assembly Hall and those joining us through the UNDP YouTube channel. Good morning, my name is Timothy Marbun, and it is a great honor for me to be your host for today's program. And let's start our event today. I'm sure that you're all excited for what we have, especially for the Pitch Fest, I'm sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just a little about the blue economy. The blue economy plays a very crucial role in driving inclusive and also sustainable development across ASEAN. Now, recognizing this, UNDP Indonesia, with funding support from the government of Japan, is implementing the ASEAN Blue Economy Innovation Project. Now, as the highlight of this project, today these innovations will finally be showcased through pitch sessions. And not just that, we will also engage in important and timely discussions about blue economy. Now, we will begin with keynote remarks from dignitaries who have been instrumental in advancing this project and also its vision. And then we will hear ASEAN representatives who will be delivering speeches focusing on the role of micro, small, and medium enterprises in their contribution in the blue economy. And we will also have inspirational talks focusing on women's economic empowerment, financing, and also in innovation. Now today, we will also get to proudly introduce you all to the 60 blue innovators and their tremendous work through a special performance. So it won't be a usual introduction, it will be a special performance. And we will not only get to hear from the innovators, we will later on turn the tables and we'll hear from the investors and corporate leaders about their vision of the blue economy and how the future will be for the blue economy. Now, of course, not to be missed, at 1 p.m., the Pitch Fest session will begin. They will be conducted in 3 breakout rooms. Maybe you've seen the rooms as you enter through the elevator. And at 4 p.m., please reconvene here as we wrap up our event today with some final announcements. Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been looking for information about today's event, it is all available online. The easiest way, if you're unsure where to go, the easiest way to get information about our event today is head to Google. And once you get to Google, we'll show you the screen here. You could just type ASEAN Blue. So once you type ASEAN Blue in Google, you should see the UNDP website as a top recommendation. You click that, and once you click, this is what you will see. And once you're in, look for the red clickable icon that says, of course, it says click here for more info. So that's easy, hard to miss. And feel free to explore the various pages that you can see there on the website. So all the information you need about our event today is available online. Just Google ASEAN Blue and you can head to the UNDP website afterwards. Now, during the pitch session, if you do come across someone or a group that you would like to follow up with, you can easily email them for more information or follow-ups just by clicking the Connect to Speaker icon. So go to the website, you can connect with that team or that group by email by clicking the Connect to Speaker icon. Now, to make it easier for you to browse our expo today outside, we also have the exhibition floor plan available on the website for your convenience. So that'll all be available for you online on the UNDP website. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our event today with keynote remarks from His Excellency, Mr. Satvinder Singh, the Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for ASEAN Economic Community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome His Excellency, Mr. Satvinder Singh.
Very good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here with all of you. A very good morning. First of all, let me acknowledge our VIPs, Ambassador Kia, my dear friend, and also Mr. Norimasa-san from the UNDP. These are the champions of this initiative, and we are all here because of the deep support coming from both of them personally and also from their institutions. It's really a great honor for me to be here amongst very distinguished guests here. We have so many of you here, including the chief innovators, the winners that are here. The most important people here today are here. And of course, I have to also acknowledge the private sector that's also here amidst us. Some of the biggest financial banking people, personalities are with us. But you know here, Mizuno Bank is just sitting up there. I've met so many of credible, important, what I call propagators of sustainability sitting in this room this morning. It's so good to have the energy alive. But first of all, can we please appreciate the beautiful staging of this event? I have not seen such a beautiful room like this for a long time. Incredible. Like I said, this is really a momentous period. There's a lot of hard work that's gone into this entire Blue Innovation Initiative. Almost more than a year of efforts that we are arriving at this stage, meeting here this morning in Jakarta. Truly, I would like to congratulate UNDP for innovatively working with the ASEAN stakeholders with the support of the Japanese government in working out an innovative startup initiative. I think there's nothing like this done to the scale that we have achieved in the last 1 year. And it's incredible, and I want to, of course, acknowledge that we wouldn't be taking on such a scale bravely, both UNDP and ASEAN, if we didn't have the support of the Japanese government. And so, Ambassador Kia, yourself, personally involved, all of the Japanese institutions, we are deeply, deeply grateful to the 3.8 million support that has gone into this entire initiative. Of course, we cannot ignore the hard work that's also been put in by the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. In short, we call it ASME. Too long to mention the full title. But this working group in ASEAN has been responsible for invaluably providing the deep support in propagating it amongst the member states and coordinating all that support on the ground. The ASME support is basically targeted at empowering our SMEs to be able to embrace blue economy, and they are, they have done quite a lot of work in wanting to help in supporting on capacity building, and they've been instrumental in helping us propagate that message throughout the region. Like I've mentioned this morning, this gathering today is a celebration. It's a celebration of the recognition of the 60 winners of the Blue Innovation Challenge, and they come from all of the ASEAN member countries, including Timor-Leste. And what I'm actually glad to share with all of you is that we are going to be hearing them, we are going to be seeing them being showcased. The innovations they bring along will be recognized deeply today, and I truly hope all of us here will be able to spend some quality time in engaging some of the innovators and their ideas. Distinguished guests, what can I say? In today's world, the balancing of economic growth and environmental sustainability is, if I might say, even more critical than ever. Blue economy, as we all know, is emerging. Not so much just about saving Mother Earth, it's really emerging as a vital driver of economic growth. Okay, while at the same time, it's critical to embrace blue economy for the preservation of our precious water resources and our marine ecosystems. As you all know, ASEAN, we are home to 28% of the world's coral reefs, almost 31% of all of the world's mangroves, and 33% of the seagrass beds. So we have a huge responsibility in being able to play a critical role in not only harnessing and protecting, but more importantly, harnessing the economic potential of this resource that we have preciously been given to maintain. It's a valuable ecosystem that, as you know, is also facing some increasing threats, including overfishing, threats from habitat degradation, as well as there's also the broader consequences of climate change sometimes we have no control over. It is therefore imperative that we act together to safeguard these resources, not only for ecological value, like I said, more critically, that we can harness economically the value that we can derive from it, and we can bring significant, what I call, growth and development for the millions of the communities in our region who are depending on it. In fact, there's an article that's been published in the World Economic Forum last month that shared that the developing of the blue economy in the world, it could generate a net economic benefit exceeding a dollar value of USD 15 trillion, not billion, not $15 trillion, accounting for almost 15%, 15% of the global GDP. Now that kind of a number is staggering. And looking into our region, the blue economy, it clearly holds a very significant importance to ASEAN, given that our region is strategically located between two of the world's major shipping lanes, and more than 66% of the ASEAN's region's total area is basically covered by oceans and seas. Now, this again underscores definitely the urgent need for ASEAN to be able to harness the blue economy potential, ensuring that economic gains are balanced together with environmental stewardship and social equity. Now, recognizing this potential, the blue economy, and how it's going to be shaping our economic landscape, now this is also in line with like what we are now already actively in ASEAN Secretariat, together with leadership from the member states. We are currently building out a full-scale implementation plan on blue economy development for the region. I think it's very timely that we have already started our work towards implementation by having this ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenge since the last 1 year. And the outcomes of it is today we are working on with. And you know, the way we have structured this challenge, it's not a one-time activity. It is a nurturing activity that we want to nurture and build upon, and build layers and layers upon this challenge. And hopefully, in the coming years, we will have continued support from all our stakeholders, including the Japanese government, for us to be able to work with our two regions to be able to harness this effectively. Now, the ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenge, as you all know, it recognizes for the urgent need for our region to address this key challenge and the need for us to sustainably manage the marine resources, and of course, to look for solutions where we can help reduce ocean pollution, and also the promotion of good technologies and innovation that will be able to harness the best of class of talents, including the ability for us to look for ways in order to support micro, medium-sized companies in being able to cope with all the challenges that's coming with the Blue Economy Challenge. Of course, it also seeks to improve the economic output, and many sectors, I know this is not an initiative that is targeted only at one single sector, let's say agriculture, but this is a pan-sectoral effort, and the impact is really far and wide. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, the economic landscape of ASEAN, as you know, is also going through a very robust transformation. And you know, our intra-ASEAN trade in 2024, has recorded an increase of 4.9% year-on-year growth, signaling that trade within our region still remains very strong. As most of you will know, we are a formidable bloc economically. We are the 5th largest GDP in the world, and the growth that we are getting in our region is going to put us to become the 4th largest GDP by 2030. But more importantly, on global trade, we are the 3rd largest economic trade bloc in the world. 10% of global trade is actually handled and managed out of our region. So there's a huge amount of potential, and that's actually in our region, together with very strong interest today coming from investors from all over the world paying attention to our region. The last 2 years, we have been one of the largest recipients of FDI in the world. And in fact, FDI flows into ASEAN. We have actually captured a growth of 15.5% growth rate in last quarter in 2024. Again, demonstrating that ASEAN is continuing to become relevant, is continuing to become useful as a magnet for foreign direct investments. So to ensure the momentum of being able to attract world-class FDI that's also responsible, we need to further enhance, of course, the ease of doing business in our region, and also we also need to be able to ensure that we are able to provide platforms for our entrepreneurs, for our innovators, to be able to grow effectively in our region. And over the years, there are many key policies and initiatives regionally that we have launched. And let me share with you some of these initiatives that may be very useful to many of the stakeholders here this morning. First, in this year, in 2025, as all of you know, Malaysia is going to be the chair of ASEAN, and all of the major ASEAN meetings are going to be hosted in the many cities and of the capital of Malaysia. And in fact, Malaysia this year has also announced, as part of their priority economic deliverables this year, they are going to be launching the ASEAN Startup Initiative with the aim of increasing startup-friendly policies for the region, as well as coordinating and enhancing our ecosystem ecosystem readiness in ASEAN to ensure, of course, there's a supportive infrastructure that is available to support the startup growth in our region. They are also going to be investing and growing together with support from dialogue partners in able to drive impactful initiatives this year. In fact, watch out for this ASEAN Startup Ecosystem Ignite initiative that Malaysia will be coordinating and organizing this year. And we are hoping that all of you here will also be part of those celebrations and activities that Malaysia will be organizing. Now, to further support our startup ecosystem, particularly for the more of the mature startups in our region, I think some of you already know, we already piloted ASEAN Secretariat together with the support of the ASEAN member states, as well as with the ASEAN Science Technology Fraternity. We have already launched the ASEAN Scale Hub initiative last year in Bali, and that platform in the pilot phase brought about 70 of some of the most established startups in our region in order to be able to help them, what I call, to be able to come together to recognize their solutions and innovations, but also to help them strengthen their value propositions, to make them to be in front of investors, to be in front of channel partners, so that they can grow further and they can effectively become stronger. Now, this Scale Hub initiative will continue this year. I'm glad to say that in July this year, the Scale Up initiative will also be running its first major Scale Up, we did the pilot last year with 70 companies. We're hoping this year we're going to have a much larger initiative for many of you to be able to participate. Next, let me also talk about some of the resources that we have online in ASEAN that are there to help small, medium-sized micro companies, including innovating startup companies in ASEAN. We have in ASEAN a platform called the ASEAN Access, ACCESS. Now, this is a platform that provides businesses with information they need in order for them to be able to go international or regional in our part of the world. And this is where you can benefit from tools of how do you navigate cross-border import, export, buy and sell. And all of that tools are available free 24/7. But at the same time, there are also resources where businesses are able, at a very, very small cost, be able to identify partners in our neighboring countries where they want to do business with. And this, again, helps many of our startups and small businesses at a low cost to be able to start creating good quality business matches in the region for them to be able to start their linkages on business opportunities in our region. I think ASEAN Access is something that, again, is there, a resource available for many of you innovators and awardees. And if there's something that we can do more, we'll be happy to explore with the fraternity here. There's, of course, also a similar work that's being also done by the ASEAN Digital Senior Officials Meeting Platform. They recently had developed a framework for the promotion of the growth of digital startups in ASEAN. Now, this is to support the ASEAN countries in making policies based on best practices to nurture and also to foster the startups ecosystems, particularly in promoting of the growth of digital startups. So this initiative is clearly there to engage and help our digital ecosystem in our region to be able to grow. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, some of these platforms I've shared with you and some of the initiatives, they are all there to design, to ensure that ASEAN and our partners, both public and private, can come together collaboratively. As like I said, one of the big initiatives this year for Blue Economy is going to be the full development and the rollout of our ASEAN Blue Economy development plan. That's, of course, pan-sectoral. And in building out that plan, I think a lot of what we have learned in the last 1 year from the Blue Innovation Challenge, a lot of the ideas, a lot of the inputs are going to be hopefully incorporated, and we have learned a lot of what we need to do, how to harness innovation in our implementation. But I think the fact that the Blue Economy Innovation Challenge came before the last 1 year, I think it's given us a very strong foundation in terms of ideation of how we need to develop an effective implementation plan that's going to help the region to move forward. So once again, let me, in conclusion, say that it's a great effort that's been put in by all our stakeholders. We want to see this effort remain. We want to see resilience in this effort. And once again, let me thank all of our stakeholders here, the UN agencies that's here putting this wonderful event for us, and of course the Japanese government for being able to bring all of us here together, and the private sector, all of you, the innovators, the entrepreneurs, the bankers, the financiers. Thank you for coming together here to make this a very successful event this morning. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. Satvinder Singh, for your remarks today. If I may, Your Excellency, I would just like to add on about the appreciation given by His Excellency about the art installations that you see here. The art installations behind you, they are part of a Modular Utopia. Now, this is an art installation created by Indonesian crochet artist Mulyana, or known as Mang Mul. So this is a special installation, and Mang Mul does focus on building coral crochets. So that's why it's so beautiful. Although, like you, I wish I could touch them. Crochets are very soft, but they are not to touch. So thank you very much for Mang Mul for preparing our decorations here as we enjoy our event today. Now, moving on to our next speaker, we will hear from His Excellency Mr. Kiya Masahiko as the Ambassador of Japan to ASEAN. Let's invite His Excellency Mr. Kiya Masahiko.
His Excellency Satvinder Singh, ASEAN DSG, thank you for your leadership. And also from ASEAN, the Ms. Joan Tan must be online from Singapore. She's a chair of ASEAN Coordinating Committee on MSME, the actual leadership, but from the ASEAN sectorals. And then Norimasa-san, thank you for really producing this in this big scale. And my colleague ambassadors, Q and others, and friends, and participants, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it is a great honor and pleasure to be invited to make a few remarks at the very beginning of this huge event. I think Satvinder has already made a comprehensive speech, and I'm expecting Norimasa-san here explaining the development of this project. I have to limit my remarks in short remarks in 3 points. One is the significance of today's event in perspective. You may know that ASEAN launched the Blue Economy Framework in 2023, that is 2 years ago, supported and, by AREA, Japan Who Supports AREA. And then it was just last year in May that the launch event was organized in ASEAN headquarters and secretariat, where we started calling for application. And then, I think more than 1,300 applicants came, and then 60 successful awardees were selected and announced on the occasion of ASEAN Summit in October. And it's the very first time that all the awardees getting together here to meet with Japanese investors and other stakeholders. So this is a culmination of 60 awardees, that is MSMEs, startups, academic institutions, and NGOs from across ASEAN, including the Timor-Leste, in principle, a member of ASEAN. And very glad to see you all. So these awardees represent the epitome of ingenuity and resilience, showcasing innovative solutions that address pressing economic, social, and environmental issues. So I like to really get full of inspiration from you all. Second point is the importance of stakeholders. So it's one thing to showcase all the good ideas, innovations, but equally important is to ensure impact and scaling up the activities. Here comes the importance of the collaboration with the private sector. So today we have a large number of Japanese investors and banks and companies and NPOs that are working on impact investment. And and also I'm hoping that many other private companies from across ASEAN or the region and the world are getting interested in here and assembling here. So I'm hoping that this is an occasion for the stakeholders to get together, to scale up. The third point is Japan's commitment to blue innovation. It was just 2 years ago when this blue economy framework started that we celebrated the 50th year of ASEAN-Japan friendship and cooperation. We worked on this very hard, and the ASEAN-Japan economic co-creation vision had 4 pillars. And one of the 4 pillars is promoting open innovation beyond borders. And equally, this blue economy framework of ASEAN, one of the 3 strategies presented in the framework is blue science, technology, and innovation. So following this cycle of $3.8 million invested in this big initiative, we continue getting engaged in blue innovation and financing. We follow up blue carbon project, it's coming up, and we continue to be engaged in supporting your activities, supporting this matchmaking, making impact through finance. And we continue engaged in this area in collaboration with ASEAN Secretariat, UNDP area, and others. So what I want to say is that we share the same vision. That is to realize the ASEAN region where innovation and sustainability go hand in hand. We are going to make that happen. So thank you once again to UNDP, ASEAN Secretariat and ASEAN sectors, and organizers, participants, and above all the awardees whom we like to fully support. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Excellency Kiya Masahiko, for your remarks. Moving on to our next agenda, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear from Mr. Norimasa Shimomura, Resident Representative of UNDP Indonesia. Let's welcome Mr. Shimomura on stage.
His Excellency Satvin Gasin, DSG, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for the ASEAN Economic Community, His Excellency Kiya Masahiko, Ambassador of Japan to ASEAN, Ms. Joanne Tan, Chair of the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, and the winners of the ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenge, Excellencies, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to first welcome you all to this special event, I would say. As the Deputy Secretary General indicated, I think we have the right people in this room. So that's really a wonderful thing. This event, as you heard, is a highlight of the ASEAN Blue Economy Innovation Project. It's an initiative generously funded by the government of Japan and implemented by UNDP Indonesia under the auspices of the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises. So today, we are focusing on the blue economy. Did you know that blue economy contributed 1.5 trillion US dollars to the global economy back in 2010, and is expected to double by 2030. And as the Deputy Secretary General mentioned, it has the potential to grow to 15 trillion US dollars. Obviously, it contributes significantly to the economies of ASEAN. And yet, the potentials are constrained by issues like overfishing, plastic pollutions, and degradation of marine and freshwater ecosystems, often affecting negatively the health and living standards of the coastal communities. At the same time, ocean and freshwater ecosystems provide non-market service As you know, ocean absorb heat and greenhouse gases, and corals and mangroves protect the shore from high waves. But these mechanisms are still not fully known, and so we have not been able to estimate their full monetary values. ASEAN is home to 1/3, approximately 1/3, of the coral reefs, mangroves, and seagrass beds, offering spectacular opportunities in terms of climate and economy. So we have great potentials that are still not being fully utilized. And honestly, we at UNDP also don't know how to unleash this potential by ourselves. But we know that there are many smart people out there with brilliant ideas, and that is why we decided to conduct the ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenge last year. More than 400,000 people checked out what it's about on our website. We were watching. And of these people, 1,341 businesses and innovators submitted their proposals from all over ASEAN and Timor-Leste. Today, we are joined by the best of these applicants, the 60 winners. 27 of them are women, led by women, and in fact, in terms of the head count, I think we have majority women from the winners attending today, so that is really something I'm proud of. And these winners have received financial and technical assistance from UNDP over the past 6 months. They are here today very eager to share with you their business ideas in a hope to secure additional support. I was quite thrilled as I was going through some of the innovation ideas. An AI technology that can detect fish-killing diseases, which otherwise cost the fish farmers a fortune. A deep-sea cultivation of seaweed that can promote food security, create jobs, and also absorb carbon gases. A technology that can convert plastics from the rivers and oceans into fuels, and many more. I hope you will enjoy discovering these innovations during the session this afternoon at the Pitch Fest. But this morning, we have even more, with a session dedicated to inspirational talks by innovators, investors, business communities, and policymakers who have joined us here today from various ASEAN countries, Japan, and other countries. We hope that our innovators will learn from experiences elsewhere and benefit from the tips that they receive today. This way, today's event can forge partnerships that can shape the future of ASEAN and its partners. I do wish to express my sincere gratitude once again to ASEAN and ASEAN Secretariat, and also to the government of Japan for their generous support and leadership. As we navigate the challenges and also explore opportunities, let us stay committed to sustainable, inclusive, and prosperous future where all people in ASEAN and other countries can realize the futures that they all want. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Nori. Mr. Shimamura, we kindly invite you back on stage. Pak Nori, we're going to have a photo session. We apologize for that. And also for this photo session, we'd also like to invite back on stage His Excellency Satvinder Singh, His Excellency Kia Masahiko, His Excellency Xiao Torvald Peterson, Mr. Nori, of course, and also we invite Bu Shinta Kamdani, Bapak Doni Dono Seputro, and also Mr. Ashish Kapahi to join us on stage for the photo session. We have heard the keynote remarks from our speakers, His Excellency Mr. Satvinder Singh, also His Excellency Mr. Kia Masahiko, also just now from Mr. Norimasa. And here are our speakers in our Setting the Scene session right after this. We have Bu Shinta Kamdani, we have Pak Doni Donasaputro, and also Mr. Ashish Kapahi, who will be delivering their speech after this photo session. Just setting the stage first for our photo session. Before we set the scene later on, we'll dig deeper about the blue economy and see their perspectives, our speakers here. And also don't forget that we have a panel discussion afterwards. Okay, we can continue on my count in 3, 2, 1. One more time, one more picture for everyone. In 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you have the ASEAN, of course, you have to have that. Okay, this is the picture that will be used, I guess. 3, 2, 1. And one more time, 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your insights, for the keynote speeches. And we'll continue. Bu Shinta Kamdani, if you may please remain on stage. Bu Shinta will be delivering her speech for our next speaker. Once again, Bu Shinta Kamdani, if you may please remain on stage. Bu Shinta will be delivering your speech. Okay, you have something to get before we continue. Yes, we will be continuing with our next part, ladies and gentlemen, which is setting the scene, where we emphasize the importance of innovation, financing, and supporting MSMEs to accelerate the blue economy in ASEAN. Let's give a round of applause to Ibu Shinta Kamdani, Chairman of Apindo and CEO of Sintesa Group. She will be talking on women's economic empowerment, fostering inclusivity for a resilient blue economy. Bu Shinta, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and such an honor to be here. When I enter the room, I see, all the different exhibitors, really showcasing a lot of the projects, a lot of the startups that are doing really great work. So I would like to congratulate again all the winners for the Blue Innovators. This is really a big, big work for you. And actually, this is very timely for us. As Apindo, the Indonesian Employers Association, we are actually focusing on blue economy. So at the moment, we are looking into investment in a lot of the blue economy space, and especially we are very much interested in seaweed. So anybody who has also working on this area, this would be something that we're very much interested in. And I think later Pak Doni will also share about some of the financing accessibility for startup that does this. But I think what is important is I also want to share with you that we also have what we call the Indonesia Impact Fund, in which Indonesian entrepreneurs, this is a fund that we started about 2 years ago, we are actually investing into startup that does SDG. So and blue economy is definitely part of SDG. So any startup will be interested, we would like to engage and work with you. So the topic that I was asked to share this morning is more on a woman empowerment space of the blue economy, which is also included in SDG number 5. So women economic empowerment, fostering inclusivity for a resilient blue economy. I don't know whether you all are aware, but nearly half of the workers in small-scale fisheries are women, yet their contribution remain largely undervalued. We are here today not just to talk about the blue economy, but to reshape it to make it truly inclusive. An inclusive blue economy is not just a moral imperative, it's an economic necessity. So I'm happy to hear that more than half, you said, the one attending today's from the innovators are also female. Women are the invisible workforce of the blue economy. In Indonesia, the fisheries sector offers 7 million jobs. Over 40% of them are women, yet their recognition is very minimal. The unequal divide is the fact that we should address. Men dominate high-value commercial fishing, while women are mostly involved in subsistence fisheries. Areas with less investment and attention, only 7.5% are involved in processing and trade. So why are women being left behind in a sector where they contribute so much? First is the limited access to resources. Women struggle to access capital, technology, and training. If you are a woman in the fishery sector looking for funding, you are far less likely to secure a loan compared to a man. Second, financial exclusion. Women are less likely than men to have a formal bank account, take out loans, or access financial services such as savings and insurance. And without financial security, scaling a business becomes almost impossible. Third is the social protection gaps. Many women working in the blue economy lack access to pensions, unemployment benefits, maternity protection, and even equal pay. Fourth is the leadership disparity. Despite their contribution, women rarely have decision-making power when it comes to fishery management, market access, and policy development. And let's not forget the burden of balancing work and family. In coastal communities, women are juggling fishing-related work with domestic responsibility, leaving them with little time or opportunity to grow their businesses. Investing in women isn't just the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do. Data shows that closing the gender gap could add $7 trillion to the global economy by 2025. If Indonesia could increase female labor force participation by just 25% by 2025, it could generate an additional $62 billion in economic activity and boost GDP by 2.9%. And beyond economic growth, when women earn more, they invest up to 90% of their income back into their families and communities. Moreover, women in fisheries are often more committed to sustainability. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the data said. Ensuring that marine resources are protected to the future generation. So I would like to call to action. How can we foster inclusivity in the blue economy? First, we need to improve access to credit. Women need more financial education, better access to banking services, and the ability to secure loans without under restriction. We need to raise the ceiling on microcredit loans to help women scale their businesses. One powerful tool we can leverage is the gender lens investing, which we are doing. And this means integrating gender equality into financial decisions, benefiting both investors and businesses. Second, we should invest in women leadership. Women must have a seat at the table. They need to be in policy discussion, in cooperatives, in business networks. Government and businesses must actively enforce policy that promote women's inclusion in leadership role. Third, we need to strengthen social protection and fair employment. Women earn on average between 60 and 70% of what men earn in the same roles. That needs to change, and we also need to ensure that social protection system, pensions, unemployment benefit, maternity protection are accessible to women in fisheries and other blue economy sectors, which are also creating decent work opportunity and tackling gender disparities in employment. We need collective effort. Imagine a platform connecting government, businesses, investors, and civil society, one that provides training, funding, technical support, and policy that foster inclusive growth. This isn't just a vision, it's something we can build together. At Apindo, we are committed to enhancing women entrepreneurs, especially in MSME, through mentorship, financial support, and digital transformation. Notably, 56% of participants in our MSME empowerment programs are female founders, and this reflects our strong commitment to supporting women in business leadership. So, let's imagine a blue economy where women are not just workers, but leaders, innovators, and decision makers. This isn't just a dream, it's a future within our reach, but it requires action. It requires investments, and most of all, it requires us to recognize that women are not the silent workforce of the blue economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very insightful and passionate speech, Ibu Shinta W. Kamdani. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on. Of course, we're eager to hear from our next speaker. Therefore, we would like to invite Mr. Doni Donosaputro, Cluster CEO, Indonesia and ASEAN Markets, Standard Chartered, with his topic, Bridging the Financing Gap for a Sustainable Blue Economy in ASEAN. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Doni Donosaputro.
Very good morning, Deputy Secretary General Satvinder Singh, Your Excellencies Businta, and winner of the ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenges and other colleagues. Great to be here, but first of all, let me just say that this is really a great initiative, the ASEAN Blue Innovation Expo and Business Matching, so really wants to compliment and give credit to the ASEAN Secretariat, UNDP, and Japan government. This is probably actually one of the hardest, as Ibu Sinta alluded, actually, to point out, because the bridge that we need to plug the financial gap for sustainable blue economy, I mean, it's actually quite massive. But first of all, setting a very quick context, as you all know, ocean is super important for us, actually 50% of oxygen being produced there and absorbing 25% of CO2 from the world. ASEAN, I think as Deputy Secretary General mentioned, it's all in the 30% kind of mark. 30% of the world's coastline, 30% more or less, seagrass and mangroves, but ASEAN plays a very important part. But ASEAN is also in need because of the impact of the climate change, obviously. Now, when we see some of the reports, when you try to size the scale of the gap and the financing need, so I refer to, there's a number of reports, but just refer actually to one. It's all in the trillions of dollars. So there's a report in 2022 by ADB and UNAP and UNDP that basically state Asia Pacific overall between 2022 and 2023, the financing gap for blue economy transition is about $5.5 trillion. And this is quite staggering. So that's the sort of problem statement. Now, the other thing is that we need to ensure that those financings actually will go into the right parties. I mean, as you know, there are a number of complexities, social elements and so on and so forth. Use of the proceeds of the funding actually would need to go into the most effective means of addressing some of the challenges. The other thing I just wanted to highlight is that there are financing mechanisms. A lot of people ask, so do you have any products actually for supporting many of our colleagues, financiers are here? These questions are being posed to us, right? Actually, do you have any special package? Do you have any special sort of structure and so on and so forth? There are a number of financing methods, right? It doesn't just come from the financial institutions like private sector banks, but also across the world. So you got the direct impact focused capital provision through philanthropy or grants, of course, and that's actually quite a lot. Early stage commercial financing through venture capital or impact financing, such as notes or outcome bonds. The more mature commercial financing, private equity, or through blue or sustainability-linked debt financing, such as the blue loans, blue bonds, which can be leveraged actually for sovereign financing as well. Now, the public-private finance vehicles, such as the blended finance platforms. We keep talking about blended finance actually for energy transition, but for the just, sustainable transition, a blue transition, I mean, that is equally required. And we see that some of the examples, the recent Indonesian debt for coral reef swap, that can enable larger scale programs and project implementation over here. The other part is also more alternative, and this is actually up and coming, as you'll know, using the carbon market. I think we at Standard Chartered, we're quite big actually on promoting carbon market, whether it's nature-based, whether it's blue, and this can make historically non-commercially viable projects into something actually that can have a revenue stream. This regards, Indonesia actually stands to lead some of these efforts with plans to enable the trading of blue carbon ecosystem-based carbon credits. According to the World Bank, Indonesia has the potential to develop mangrove-based blue carbon projects with a net present value of about $500 million, reducing up to 11 million tons of CO2 per year. I mean, that's something actually that's quite sizable. This is another source of revenue stream. The other point I wanted to make is that a significant importance of blended finance in mobilizing more private capital for sustainable blue economy activities. As we all know, there's a finite amount actually of public sector capital. The idea is to attract as much as possible, to use $1 of public sector money to generate a ratio of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, even 1 to 15 of private capital to come in. I must say that in the world of finance, structuring a blended finance is still evolving. To be quite honest, there is no silver bullet that can say that whether you talk about the structure of the public sector will provide guarantee, first loss, 80% guarantees, this and that. I mean, there's a number of financial structures actually out there. Horses for courses, yes, actually, but I must admit, actually, it is still being, evolving because, and this is the challenge actually for many of us in the financial sector, both the public sector and the private sector, to continue to come up with the best structure that can really, really leverage the public sector funding to the most actually to attract private capital to come in. But this is very important, so I just wanted to highlight actually that blended finance is actually the key actually to act as a catalyst for transition towards blue economy. Now, the role of international organizations, as you can see over here, actually, we are here today. The MDBs, the DFIs, so of course, actually, the ASEAN Secretariat and UNDPs actually are playing a very important part in this. So, international organizations are really needed actually to set the right standards, funding activities, assisting in implementation, and ensuring a just transition, and creating actually that the whole entire thought leadership. Now, what we have seen is that many international organizations help to convene and coordinate global efforts to tackle existing unsustainable practices, because there are some challenges. I think actually it's been highlighted earlier by an ambassador, and to ensure that positive action for international environment, social, and governance issues are being addressed. Now, we see on the financing side that the international organizations, particularly the DFIs and the MDBs, actually are playing actually a very important part. And this is exactly actually that form the public sector side that we mentioned in the financing structure. We've seen a lot of initiatives actually being done by ADB, the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, Japan International Cooperation Agency, and others, World Bank, in this space. And this is something actually that would be very welcome, because, to be quite honest, it goes actually hand to hand. Actually, everybody actually would have to join forces together. Now, what is really needed, we believe, actually, from the public sector or the government in particular, the sovereign, to further unlock private capital? Okay, one is the transition to a sustainable blue economy will require strong and supportive regulatory framework and enforcement of the regulation to ensure that the success of implemented activities is not impeded by things that are coming actually from the left field, like illegal fishing, pollutions and the likes. Investors need that conviction or belief or assurance that it is going to be sustainable. Then the second part, policies and plans for the development of the blue economy. Investors would require predictability of blue economic growth and therefore confidence of investors in longer-term returns of viability. So I'll just point out about the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework. I think that's really something actually that sets the right foundation and it's intended to guide ASEAN Blue Economy Initiative towards the ASEAN Blue Economy Vision. And this is actually great because it gives the pathway actually for investors to see the future. Now, there is also a need actually in addressing the financing gap on the importance of innovation in both the actual blue economy solutions, the technological, and the blue economy finance. I think this is something actually that, again, on the finance part, is all of that public sector, MDBs, DFIs, private capital, private equities actually needs to work very closely together in the right platform. But there is a need actually to have technological advancements to lower down cost, for example. And this is very key, otherwise actually we won't be able to address this. Some of the examples, I know actually that we have some other colleagues from the financial institutions over here, but to share actually a little bit about Standard Chartered, what we have done on our part. I think we fully recognize the importance of sustainable blue economy across all of our footprints, particularly because we're kind of known actually to be the bank actually in emerging markets, and there's a lot of coastal lines there. So a few years back, we supported the world's first sovereign blue bond in the Republic of Seychelles. And last year, we acted as a sole lender and dealer manager for the Bahamas. This is for the Bahamas Islands. Debt conversion for nature. But this is the public-private sector sort of blended sort of type. Sorry, I don't want to bore you guys actually with the details and technicalities and so on. But this is actually just to show actually that there is hope actually that we can generate about 120 million for marine conservation in the Bahamas. Now, internally within Standard Chartered, to help advance emerging areas of sustainability, we have set up 4 innovation hubs within our group to help drive sustainability ecosystem development and specifically to identify breakthrough opportunities and solutions for our clients and our markets across 4 key themes. So one is the adaptation, carbon, blended finance, and nature. So very similar, this is the hubs actually that we hope actually that can come up actually with some solutions, collaborating with other financial institutions to come up with better solutions to bridge the financing gap. We've also issued reports. Last year we had published a report called Towards a Sustainable Ocean, highlighting the vast array of solutions, both technical and financial, that can support a transition to a sustainable blue economy. Previously, actually, we issued a report called Seaweed. Kelp is on the way. I mean, it's help, actually, but it's kelp. So analyzing the potential of seaweed. I think Basinta earlier highlighted the seaweed potential as food alternatives, plastic alternatives, and how can we scale up all of this. Now, this is actually one of the examples of what we're doing. I know actually that some of our other colleagues actually are doing exactly the same thing. It can only go towards actually progress in terms of trying to find the best way to bridge the financing gap. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the call for action is for all of us. There's no one silver bullet. It requires, to bridge this financing gap, it requires every single party, whether that's the community, the government, public sector, private sector capital owners, to work very closely together to address this significant challenge for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doni Dono Saputro, for delivering your remarks in our event. And while we have you here, Mr. Doni, on your recognizing your work throughout ASEAN, also Indonesia, we'd also like to congratulate you for your most excellent order from the British Empire that you have just received. Recognized for his work with the UK, ASEAN, and also Indonesia. Pak Doni, thank you very much for your speech in our event today. Now moving on to our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, We have Ms. Joanne Tan, the chair of the ASEAN Coordinating Committee on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, who will be delivering on the topic, empowering MSMEs and startups as key drivers of inclusive blue growth, delivered by Ms. Joanne Tan, who will be delivering it online here today. So we will be watching the speech through this video.
His Excellency Savinder Singh, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN for the ASEAN Economic Community. His Excellency Kiya Masahiko, Ambassador of the Mission of Japan to ASEAN. Mr. Norimasa Shinomura, Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Programme, Indonesia. Dr. Amalia Wiyansanti, Shepherd, ASEAN Coordinating Task Force on the Blue Economy. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. I hope all of you have been keeping well since we last met. It is my great honor to join you virtually today to welcome all to the ASEAN Blue Innovation Expo and Business Matching event. Firstly, I would like to commend the efforts of UNDP in delivering the program. Please also allow me to express my deepest appreciation to the government of Japan for your unwavering support. Next, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all the 60 winners of the ASEAN Blue Economy Innovation Challenge. Your innovative solutions reflect your dedication in addressing climate change issues, promoting sustainable fishing practices, reducing plastics pollution, and growing sustainable tourism. These efforts will not only enhance the livelihood of our region, but also to safeguard our precious marine ecosystem around us. This program has come a long way since the launch last year. Today's event marks a significant milestone of the program, following the conclusion of the virtual business incubation segment. While innovation is key for transformative solutions, it is equally important that we consider aspects such as sustainability and commercial viability when we develop these solutions. It is my sincere hope that the winners today will also apply the insights that you have gained from the business incubation segment to strengthen your projects and to further enhance the potential and impact of these projects to drive even more lasting and positive impact for ASEAN communities and our marine ecosystems. However, the endeavor to achieve an inclusive and sustainable blue economy do not just lie with a small group of individuals. It requires all of our collective efforts. Therefore, I would like to encourage all participants to make use of today's event to engage in meaningful discussions, exchange best practices and ideas, and also to explore areas of collaborations. In closing, on behalf of ABEI, we look forward to supporting more of such impactful partnerships in driving sustainable development to enhance our regional competitiveness and to create a resilient, inclusive, and sustainable economy. Once again, congratulations to all 60 winners, and I wish everyone a rewarding experience at today's event. Thank you very much, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to Ms. Joanne Tan for delivering her remarks. And our next speech, ladies and gentlemen, will be delivered by Mr. Ashish Kapahi, the CEO of ASEAN Economic Forum, who will be talking about frugal innovation, addressing local challenges with resilience. Let's welcome on stage Mr. Ashish Kapahi.
His Excellencies, representatives from the various agencies and the private sector, fellow speakers, entrepreneurs, and my dear friends. As I start, I want to pick on some of the things that Ibu Shinta Kamtani said. She spoke about women participation in the workforce. Interestingly, I was looking at some figures from India. There are about 140,000 startups in India, of which 67,000 have at least one woman director. Now, if we can inculcate that kind of inclusive culture in the MSMEs as well, I think it will solve part of our problems. Can I go to the next slide, please? Oh, sorry. So I want to start my presentation by taking us all back 200 years in time. I'm a bit of a storyteller, so I hope this resonates with everyone. What you see on stage is a gentleman by the name of Charles Dickens. He's popularly known for his style of novel writing. He wrote David Copperfield, Great Expectations, some of which we have all read. The interesting part about Charles Dickens is that he was attributed to bringing the literacy rate of UK from sub 50% to about 97% in his lifetime. And how he did that was by the style of writing that he had, which resonated to the common people or the peasants. That was not all. What was also happening during that time, and this is the Victorian era, was that the printing press had just been invented. We were in the Industrial Revolution 1. And from the time he was born till he started writing, the printing press had become mature. In 1750, there were 60 book titles that were published. By the time it was 1825, there were 600 titles that were published. At the end of 19th century, at the beginning of 19th century, there were 6,000 titles that were published. And by the time we reached 2000, there were 3.2 million titles published in the US and 8 million titles published. So, do we attribute it to Charles Dickens, or do we attribute the literacy rate going up in the world to the printing press? The answer, I think, is that there is no silos. Innovation happens as a combination of multiple things. Now, fast forward 200 years. Let me bring you to 2000 and beyond. In 2000, the internet was invented. It did two very interesting things. The first thing, it connected people, which is oxygen. The second thing it did was it provided you with information, which is your livelihood. Now, we have 6 billion people today which have access to internet, and that has revolutionized things. Communities which do not have internet are also known as digital deserts. 2025, two powerful forces that are shaping the world today. One is democratization of open networks, that is access to information through internet, and commoditization of generative AI is what we have all been discussing. This brings me to my last point, frugal innovation. Frugal innovation is a thought process. It is about doing more for less. We do not need multi-million-dollar labs to produce or to find solutions to problems. Frugal innovation can also be attributed to what we call as jugaad in Indian, and we also call as senzai in Chinese, which means copycat in literal terms, and mass production. But it is not just limited to that. Today, frugal innovation is about processes. It is about supply chains. It is about innovation in technology and using both the concept of jugaad and sanjay together, which is essentially what the world needs. Okay, this is a bit of a humor. This is really not frugal innovation. But these are some examples of frugal innovation that I want to share with you. We look at BYD and Tesla. I think that's a no-brainer. I don't need to explain that. Xiaomi versus Apple is also something that I don't need to explain to you. But the ones that I really want to touch upon are some of these other innovations that have transformed the world. M-Pesa, a Kenyan-based innovation. This is a payment platform which uses a simple SMS-based payment. They help you pay using an SMS, plus they also provide you microfinance. Today they have 66 million users in Africa, and they do over 33 billion worth of transactions. The next example that I want to use is Arvind Eye Care Center, which have used the assembly line methodology to treat patients for cataract. They have operated upon millions and millions of patients at a less than $10 cost, which in the Western world would cost them thousands of dollars. The third one, which we are all aware of, is the classic ISRO example, the Indian Space Research Organization, which was also known as the Mangalyaan. This was the space mission to Mars, where the entire mission was concluded in about $74 million. That is, in fact, less than the cost of producing a Hollywood movie that covers a space research. Tata Nano, a poor man's car, made available for as less as $2,000. And the last one, which is quite near and dear to me, because this was a company that was founded in Singapore, called Zensung. It was founded by a cancer patient who had insurance, and he could come out of, come back strong because it was luck and part of insurance. As the tagline says, an uninsured person is one incident away from bankruptcy. A simple app which lets bike riders and delivery people across Asia get a term insurance for 3 months if they use a credit card, or if they fill a castor oil once, and they can top it up as and when required. With this, I want to leave you with some thoughts. When you think the way you think, you will do what you've done, and you will get what you'll always get. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Ashish Kapahi, for your remarks. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the setting that we now see about the blue economy and what we will see here today. And of course, we have only started the day. So we still have a pitch fest. You have an expo that you could attend as well. But now, at this moment, we would like to jump into the next session, where we will be introducing the winners of the ASEAN Blue Innovation Challenge. Let's give a big round of applause to them first for their hard work. And now, it won't be a traditional introduction. This introduction will be delivered by Huma Ark. We have asked Huma Ark, a Jakarta-based theater performance club, to introduce them in a very entertaining way. So please welcome Huma Ark.
used to be a song where fishes danced, where waves whispered lovingly. The sea used to be a mother, giving without asking, embracing without judging. In her body, corals grew, a home for the voiceless. There, currents flowed, carrying stories from continent to continent. She was the beginning of everything. She was life.
Lean on me, all water. Sing, my wave. We live for you, and you live for us.
She gives, never ask for anything back. But humans come, not to sing, not to guard. They come to take. They reach out, not to nurture, but to snatch. They pull in the net, not with gratitude, but with greed. They see the sea, not as the mother, but as a field that can be squeezed, spent, forgotten.
You guys are taking too much. Stop! Stop! Stop!
The sea cries, but humans remain deaf. In the midst of the darkness that engulfs the sea, there is one small light. Not from the sun, and not from the stars, but from the hands that still believe and care. There are always those who see, always those who choose to hear. They call it Fishery 4.0 technology. That gives the ocean eyes. It doesn't just see, it understands. With this, the ocean is no longer exploited blindly.
They heard what I needed?
Not just listening, they give fish room to breathe, give the ocean time to recover. They seek answers and knowledge of science for common good and deep understanding of living organism and the universe, in harmony with the planet. They know that the sea can be healed and nurtured with conscience and compassion, not being treated as a commodity to be exploited.
Can this save my children?
This biotechnology not only treats diseases of marine species effectively and sustainably, but also isolates valuable elements. Fish can only take so many antibiotics like us human beings. Agriculture is no longer a burden on the ocean, but rather a part of a balanced ecosystem. They call it biotechnology for fishery, technology that heals the sea. Those who once depended on the sea for their livelihood, now just to protect it. They are no longer victims of exploitation. They become guardians.
They have learned
Yes, they know that the ocean is not just about what can be taken, but about what can be preserved together. They call them coastal communities when sea gardens rise again. The sea began to breathe, but it was still suffocating. There is something invisible, something that never really goes away. They found a way to end the curse of plastic. They created something new. Something that wouldn't live for hundreds of years in a fish stomach. They know that change is just not about stopping, but about finding new ways to live in harmony. They call it no more plastic. They didn't just stop trying. They started transforming. Plastic that was once just trash is now given a second chance. They took back what they had thrown away. Waste is no longer a curse, but an opportunity to create. They call it reduce and manage turning waste into blessing.
But they're still poison.
And they know shattered plastic doesn't really go away. It just becomes smaller, more dangerous. They look for ways to stop the invisible. They create devices that can catch these tiny toxins before they damage life further. They call it microplastic. It's a long fight, but it's the first step towards a sea that sings again. Those who once only came to take are now learning to protect. They realize that the sea is not just a place to play, not just a source of wealth. The ocean is life, and they choose to take care of it. They realize that the water they return to the ocean must be as clean as when they took it. They are no longer dumping toxins, but returning life. They call it water treatment, back to clean water.
I can breathe more deeply. I can feel my current flowing again without pain.
Those who come are no longer destroyers, but friends. They come not just to enjoy, but to understand. They finally come with hearts, not just with hands that want to dominate. They call it sustainable tourism. Tourism that stewards. To plan, not just trees, but protections for the sea. These routes not only kept the land from collapsing, they also become home to new life. They call it nature-based solutions and climate finance, where nature becomes the protector. Once the sea sang, then it wept. It drowned in wounds made by human hands. Yet, those who care have come not to watch the destruction, but to weave back what has been torn apart.
I have seen destruction. I have felt the loss. I almost gave up. But this time, you came not to take, but to keep. I used to ask, is this the end? But now I see you, I see them, and I know it's not the end. It's the beginning of the ocean singing again.
The sea whispers once again. Its waves now flow, not in sorrow, but in a song that will never be lost again. We cannot walk alone. We must heal together, cultivate together, and protect our oceans together for future generations. The shared prosperity that the ocean and its waters provide connects us all, as we are interdependent on this earth.
Give another round of applause to Huma Arc. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the 60 innovators. If you're an innovator, please stand up. Let's rise from your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Let's introduce you all, everybody. All 60 groups, please stand up from your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the 60 innovators whose work you've been introduced to through Huma Arc. You can see them here, they're in the middle, and there as well, so they're all behind you. Their works have you seen through the works of Huma Arc there for our Earth, not only for the region, but also for the world. Here are our 60 innovators. Let's talk to a few of them. Let's hear those from Brunei, if you would raise your hand. Where's the from Brunei? I have a very, very bright spotlight. I can't really see. Okay, from Brunei. Cambodia. From Cambodia here. Indonesia. Indonesia here. We also have from Laos. Where are you? Oh, right there. Okay. From Malaysia. Malaysia's here. Myanmar. Myanmar here. Next we have from the Philippines. From the Philippines all the way there. I can't really see you. Singapore. Okay. Make sure you're the loudest. From Thailand. Thailand here. Welcome. Vietnam. Vietnam here. And also from Timor-Leste. Let's hear from Timor-Leste here. Welcome to Jakarta and congratulations for winning. Let me talk to some of you here. You've seen some of their works on stage and also on the screen. Gikoko, where's Gikoko? Where's that group? It's very dark in here, isn't it? Gikoko, or I'll try another one. Where's from Nicola? Nicola, raise your hand, please. I really can't see you in this darkness. Or I'll just talk to the one. Oh, there. Okay, let's talk to them. Let's talk to them. I need the camera to follow me because nobody could see us from here. From Nicola. Who's from Nicola? Oh, back here. Okay, of course I've chosen the furthest one so you cannot see. So, yeah. Okay, so if you would just face there, since the light is there, let me just find a space here where I could reach you. Hi. Can I know your names, please?
Hi, I'm Saisumpon Kongmani from Nicola from Laos PDR.
Hi guys, I'm Sulasi Yagaumani. I'm from Nicola from Laos.
Okay, so welcome to Jakarta. First time in Jakarta? First time, welcome to Jakarta. So in very few words, what do you dream of? What can your work do that you dream of could happen in 5, 10 years?
Yes, absolutely. We wanted to go with net zero plastic, like net zero waste. That is our main goal. We want Laos also awareness, like here, Indonesia, the awareness about the waste, like plastic pollution a lot. So we want our people to be like this as well. And we wanted to grow in this green economy and use our products as the impact as much as I can. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Great work, great work. Let me talk to other innovators. I'll move on to the other side here. Before we move on to our next session, let's see. Innovators in the middle here. Let me just find someone. Anyone from Philippines here? Philippines? Oh, side there. Okay. Sir, where are you from?
From Eco Thailand.
Thailand. Would you stand up, please? Oh, also, this is your team. Let's introduce your team. If you made it, let's face here to the cameras. Could you introduce your team?
Hi, I'm Sol Milne from Eco Thailand.
I'm Tanya Kanchanarak from Eco Thailand.
In very few words, what are you working on?
So we are working on using technology, mainly using drones and AI to find detect ghost gear and remove them from the marine environment and recycle them.
So what do you need to move further on? What do you need to bring this project bigger?
So we need partnership and collaborators to make our project bigger, to scale to other locations in Thailand and within the region, to bring this innovation and restore key habitat in Thailand and in all the Asian countries.
Is your elevator pitch ready for our event?
For sure.
On the scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you?
100.
Okay, thank you very much. Please have a seat. Good luck on today's event. Now, just one more. I'll move there. So let's be fair, moving on here. So innovators, I'll just get the ones that are at the very front, right? Easier. Sir, what's your name?
My name is Seng Kung from Sudan, from Cambodia.
Cambodia. Could you face here, please? Now, the camera's there. If you see a bright light, do not follow the light. Just face there. Okay, so would you introduce your team as well?
Hi, my name is Tari. I'm also from Sudan team.
So what do you expect from today's event?
Thank you so much. So for expected for our team, we're looking forward for collaborator because Sudan we provide eco-friendly wastewater treatment solution. We recycling coconut waste to treat the wastewater, which is really helpful for our planet as well and environmental sustainability way. And that's what we're looking for, partner collaboration more and also investment opportunity to scale up. And what our dream that want to come true is to see every household have to access to sanitation, which is really eco-friendly solution for all.
You went through an incubation process, right? So what have you learned so far from the whole process?
All right, so as what we have learned so far from the Asian Blue Innovation Challenge, especially thank you so much for UNDP and Japanese and Asian that bring us to this event also. Like along the journey, it's quite far from starting point, and then we bring all innovators here, which is really useful for us to be first just connected people, open heart to learn from each other, and other one is be collaborative, because I think success is never own. It's a group of people that collaboration and work together. This is what we're looking forward to grow more and be a green future together.
Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to all our innovators. Good luck on your pitch fest today. And as you know, you have your investors here as well, so they will be very eager to learn more from you. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, our stage is ready by now. And we'll hear more about them. If you do want to know more about our innovators, you could go to their booths later on. But of course, we're moving on to our next session for now. Let me just get up on the stage before we start. Now, we will hear views from investors, businesses, and also guiding bodies in our next session. Now, we have, as our panelists today, representatives from global banks sharing their vision for the blue economy. We also have investors from government-led firms sharing their strategic vision for blue growth, and also leaders from boutique VC firms who will be also sharing their vision on the blue economy. Therefore, I would like to invite our moderator for this session, Mr. Takehiko Serai from Creatella Impact, to come on stage. Let's welcome Mr. Takehiko Serai.
All panelists, please come to the stage, please. Panelists, everyone. All set? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Takehiko Serai. I'm representing Creatella Impact. Creatella Impact is a non-profit based in New York. I'm from Japan, but I live in America. Been living in the States for many decades now. And I'm hoping to just bring some perspective from Japan as well as the US today. And my goal is really to make this panel as enjoyable as possible. But let me just start with this. You know, in Japan, a conference speech like this almost always starts with an apology. Kind of like, I'm very sorry you had to travel so far to get to this conference. Whereas in America, a conference speech almost always starts with a joke. So everyone, let me apologize for not, because I don't have a joke. Or that said, you know what American people are talking about today or lately? Leadership. Leadership. Oh, by the way, this is completely my personal view, not UNDP's or Creatella's, but the hottest topic today in America is leadership, because two men with a big personality, big character, are trying to work together. Do you think they will succeed? I'm concerned. I'm quite a bit concerned. But at the same time, I'm very excited about their performance. You're looking confused. Do you know what I'm talking about? LeBron James and Luka Doncic playing for the Los Angeles Lakers together. Are you concerned or excited about the performance? Kazuki? Are you excited?
Thanks, Take-san.
I'm sure
I'm
you
so
are
relaxed.
excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyhow, today we have a great panel for you, and we'll all learn about blue economy investment opportunities. And let me have them introduce themselves one by one. It's a great panelist. You should be very excited. I'm very excited. And let's start with Priya. And let's have Priya's image up here, please.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Priya Bellino. I'm here from Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, and I lead the sustainable finance team across APAC. So that includes India, ASEAN, and Australia as well. So I wanted to just kind of give a little brief, comment about how inspired I am to be here. And I am very excited to get to know all of the 60 finalists as well, the awardees. Thank you.
And everyone, please feel free to add something that is unique about you, right? But you have 1 minute. Tomokazu, please, from Mizuho Bank.
Okay, so hello. My name is Tomokazu Otani. So I'm responsible for the business strategy and the product development related to nature-based solution and circular economy at Mizuho Financial Group. So in particular, I believe that we must address the blue economy in not only Japan, but also collaboration with Asian country. So I'm grateful to be invited to this event. I have expectation for young power and innovative business challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is third panelist, Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy. I am representing Wahid Ventures. We are VC raising fund through ECF backed by Aramco. And I am also heading the state investment for Selangor. We are the highest contributor to the GDP for Malaysia. So you know all the activities right in Malaysia happen in Selangor. We take care of the river of the state. We take care of the water of the state. We take care of the waste of the state. So climate matters to us a lot because we will be the state that push the policy for the country because everything happens in Selangor. So happy to engage with all of you.
Panelist number 4, Zihan, please.
Hello, hi.
Zehan here from Cradle Fund. We are a government agency under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. So we are also part of the ASEAN Startup Initiative, and also so we'll be spearheading some of the initiatives, as some of you would have heard yesterday, the platform that we'll be launching. And we'll be also hosting a massive startup event towards the end of the year, this year. So I welcome every one of you to come to Kuala Lumpur. So see you there.
Okay, panelist number 5, Celine, please.
Test. Is it working? Hi, everyone. I'm Celine. Just before I talk about what I do, I just want to say I was really moved by the representation. We just have beautiful choreography. And congratulations to all entrepreneurs. So I feel like an entrepreneur myself. I know it's a rocky road, so congratulations to all the very courageous people here in this room. On my part, so to introduce myself, so we have set up a company in Singaporean fund management company, and the first fund is now Well Ventures, which is under this capacity that I'm here today. So it's a fund focusing on the blue economy early stage startups.
Okay, panelist number 6, Patty, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Patty, and I'm the Managing Director for Mana Impact. We're an impact investment advisory firm focused on mobilizing capital, supporting innovators and innovations, creating a positive nature and climate impact. Yeah, I'm also based in Singapore, and yeah, really glad to be here and get to know each other. Thanks.
Panelist number 7, Kazuki from Marubeni.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kazuki Hiroka from Marubeni, Indonesia. Marubeni Group is one of the Japanese conglomerate, and we also have business offices in each ASEAN countries. And also, we are doing the business related to the blue economy, and really willing to hear the business model or business idea to solve such kind of concerns. So I'm really happy to be here and really looking for hearing from each startups here. Thank you very much.
Lastly, but not the least,
thanks, Take.
my buddy, Rin from Vera.
Thanks. My name is Win Sim. Tan is actually my surname, but sometimes people get confused which one is my surname or first name. But just call me Win. Easy, all right? I'm the regional representative for Vera in Asia and the Pacifics. In case you're not familiar with Vera, Vera is actually a non-profit organization. Sometimes they call us a standard. Carbon credit standards, for example, independent crediting programs, many names. But think about voluntary carbon market, we are one of the players. As a non-profit, we don't provide fundings, but we provide the mechanisms to fund projects, which as a fellow ASEAN today, I'm really delighted to see the list of attendees and the kind of projects. But I keep my introduction short so that I don't take up so much of my content later. So just a bit teaser already. Back to you, Take.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to have everyone give a short presentation later, but let me start with mine. Can I have my slide up, please? Thank you. So, since this program is funded by the Japanese government, let me start by sharing some Japanese culture. Next slide, please. How about a kanji lesson? Kanji is Japanese character, Chinese character. Anyway, go back, please. Okay. Climate crisis is written like this, with 4 characters. It's pronounced Kiko Kiki. And let's focus on the second 2 characters. So Kiki is written like this. The first character on the left side means danger. And the second character is timing, but it has a nuance of opportunity. So in Japanese, crisis is a combination of danger and opportunities. Isn't that good stuff? Interesting? Hmm? Oh, by the way, that said, please don't get Kiki tattooed on your arm, because why not? Why not? Because the Japanese people will just think that you are a walking crisis. Okay. So today, these group of innovators are the people who are turning climate crisis into opportunities. And we have conducted a financial needs analysis survey. And let me just quickly go through, there's my 2 more slide pages to just give you a snapshot of what the ABIC winners look like. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, we only got about half of the innovators responding to our survey request. And I assume that is because we asked lots of questions about their numbers, but half of them probably are, quite a few of them are in the conceptual stage. So they may not have wanted to share their numbers yet. But, so let me just give you the disclosure first. And the numbers you'll be seeing will be all median numbers, and because there was quite a bit of a variability in the responses. Okay, let's start with this number. Median employee count was 10. And the revenue last year was about $154,000. That's not bad, eh? Of course, it's a median of less than half of the survey participants' responses. So let's just think of that as be conservative about this number. And projected revenue growth rate for the next year is plus 111% year on year. That's pretty good, right? It's 2x. And in terms of funding needs, they indicated that a median funding needs is 150,000. And let's just go through this graph here to understand where they were aiming to invest. So top 2 categories during the next 12 months, where are they going to invest? Top 2 categories are product development and to launch new products. So as you can see, they're a very forward-looking bunch of innovators. And with that said, let's have our panelists give their own presentations. And it's going to be a short presentation. Please just limit your speech to 3 minutes, because if you speak more than 3 minutes, it's not that your chair is going to give you an electric shock or anything, but the UNDP panel organizers will be giving you very mean look, for sure. Another thing is that so after the presentation, I will ask 1 or 2 questions, and I may ask stupid questions, just to be clear. But let's just say my questions are for the audience, okay? So let's just pretend I know nothing, but of course I know everything. But let's just assume I know nothing and I will ask stupid questions. And with that said, and also we have grouped these 8 panelists into 4 thematic areas. And the first group Priya and Tomokazu will talk about, or the main speakers about global bank's vision for the blue economy. And Amy and Zihan will focus on government-led strategic investment. And Celine Patty will focus on boutique VC firms' vision for the blue economy. And lastly, Kazuki and Win will provide their insights from businesses and standard bodies. And so we'll have two people present one by one, followed by a quick Q&A, and move on to the next groups. And that said, Priya, so I'm going to pass along the clicker, so please control this slide. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let me get started. I wanted to share a little bit of context in how SMBC looks at this topic. So blue we can consider as a component of green, right? And so in SMBC, we have a huge sustainability strategy and focus. We've committed to investing 50 trillion yen in sustainable finance between now and 2030. And actually, we are more than halfway there. And so I will kind of just explain to you how we're looking at this. This is a little bit of a busy slide. And I'm talking about kind of large-scale finance. And I know a lot of you here as innovators, struggle to access this kind of large-scale finance. So I wanted to just kind of unpack that a little bit. So these are just some examples of products that we offer, and we offer these to our wholesale, corporate customers, right? So think in your countries, in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Malaysia, Indonesia, who are those large corporates, right? Who may be wanting to access finance in a sustainable form. So we do deposits, green deposits. We do something called use of proceeds products, green, green loan, green bond, and blue would definitely be a subsect of that. So all of your innovations would fall under a blue component. We do social loans that have social impact. And we do a mix, green and social. And I have a case study for you to show you. And we also do sustainability-linked products. And this is where our corporates like to show progress in certain key areas, key metrics. So we may have a hospitality client looking at improving their coastal management. And your innovation can help them incrementally improve that over time. This is something we can structure into a product that is sustainability linked and that showcases your innovation. We also provide trade finance, so supply chain, derivatives for hedging and risk across borders, FX risk. And then, of course, we support on ESG strategy and energy transition and transition finance as well. I want to kind of talk you very quickly through a case study that we did in India. And I chose an Indian example specifically not to be ASEAN focused and biased to any country here, we did a social housing project that had a very deep water infrastructure component to it. So we called it a social and blue loan, right? And we used a partner, and we talked about ecosystem in the previous session. The ecosystem is really important. We brought together, agencies who had helped with sort of water and infrastructure supply as part of the social housing project. And so I want to just share this as an example to you, because if you are working with your ecosystem partners and there are social benefits, there are other co-benefits in your project, we love to know about that. So please do share, and I'll hopefully meet many of you later. And then lastly, I just want to share a bit of a promotion, but we did a paper on nature finance. SMBC, we really believe deeply that we need to be investing heavily in nature, in biodiversity, and water is a big component of that. And blue solutions, particularly in ASEAN, are a big part of that. Our coastal mangroves, and we have members who will talk about carbon credits. And what we notice in SMBC is we're struggling to do this. And we need your help, and we need an ecosystem approach into tackling how we can scale in a large way nature finance. So feel free to look at the code, and you can have a look at the paper, and happy to take any questions later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priya. Let's go to Tomokazu Mizuho Financial Group's presentation, please.
Yep. Hello again. So we talk about the Mizuho sustainability strategy. Okay. So first of all, also Mizuho characteristic broad client base in the hard to aviate sector, so oil, gas, and electric power, and steel, and so on. So that's kind of the client is based on our clients. So next, we talk about Mizuho track record in the sustainability finance. Mizuho target amount for sustainable finance is 100 trillion yen, Japanese yen, which is equivalent to the 900 billion US dollar. Very big, very big. So, in the fiscal year 2023, the actual achievement was approximately 30 trillion yen. Not, I think. So next, I will discuss the legal table for sustainable finance. So in terms of the loan for sustainability finance, we are ranked #1 globally. And additionally, for SDGs bond, we are #1 in Japan. Furthermore, we hold a 52% share of the global transition finance market. So next three. As a Mizuho, we have identified 3 key themes for sustainability: hydrogen and carbon credit and impact investment. We engage in investment products development and business development related to this theme. And the blue economy has gained attention in recent years due to its strong connected to carbon neutrality and circular economy and nature capital. So in the blue economy sector, we aim to achieve these 3 key points same time. So we have to measure the impact and maximize the social impact of the blue economy is our vision. So the blue economy field is very big. So too much fields. Yeah. So lastly, Mizuho take initiative on new opportunities responding to emerging issues in the marine ecosystem. So we have to establish ocean-based industry in near future. We hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, you guys gave me good questions, but I actually have a burning question of my own. So let me ask you this question. So these innovators, ABIC winners, what characteristics are you looking for if you are to invest in them? What would be a good company innovator with good characteristics for you to attract you?
Thank you for the question. I think for us, it's really scale. So seeing how the potential of that innovation can multiply into much larger scale and how it can complement, the other kind of existing ecosystem. And that might be public service. It might be, government related. And there may be also large companies who would really benefit from that innovation.
Great, thank you. Tomokazu?
Yeah, so I think the blue economy is scale is very big, and so we have to collaborate the public sector and private sector and country by country. So it is very difficult, but we have to collaborate and create a new industry. I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You guys are a big commercial banks, but so what does blue economy innovation mean to you guys? Big question. Is it a big? It is a. I'm guessing that it may not be the biggest part of your portfolio, but definitely, I think there's a potential. But do you agree with that statement?
I definitely see huge potential, and we're looking closely at opportunities. I think, you know, don't assume we are so smart that we know so much about the blue economy. Actually, we need to be educated. And so I think there are many experts in the room who are very, very close to the issues at hand, the complexities and the technology and innovation that's needed. Please raise your voice and help us also build bridges so we can understand you better and what the needs are.
Great, thank you. Tomokazu?
Yeah, so regarding blue economy, so particularly blue carbon such as mangrove or seaweed and sea grasses. And I feel that there is a potential to achieve carbon nature and carbon neutrality and circular economy and nature positive is a very important point. So achievement this kind. So and I have high expectation for this initiative as an adaptation measure against global warming in the Asian region, and believe this is potential for create a new industry.
Thank you. Let's move on to the government-led strategic investment for blue growth. And let's hear from Amy, please.
Hi.
Could you pass the
Oh, okay. I like when you both said scalability, right? I mean, it's a simple word, scalability, but it's a big word for startups. I mean, we've been dealing with startups day in and day out. So that is actually a big problem when we talk about scalability due to market access. So how do we get to know that person? How do I know that this company needs my services, right? So that is actually where when we keep on talking to startups, there's a huge gap for them to reach out to us. I mean, you can talk about scalability, but like I mentioned to you, I represent the largest state in Malaysia. We take care of 59 kilometers of river, 10 metric tons of waste every day, but do you know us? And it's also our responsibility to tell the startups we need you. So there's always a clear gap in the middle between the government agencies as well as the startups. So this is where our team will play a biggest role in connecting the bridge, not only that we will be deploying money to the startups, we will make sure that all the startups that we taking care of will have the access to all our subsidiaries. We a huge corporation. If you are from Malaysia, we take care of the whole greater KL, the water and the waste and the river, the mining. So this is actually very important to us, but what we realized is we couldn't find the startups. I know we are there. I mean, like today, I'm actually quite surprised to see so many blue economy startups. You guys are here. I'm happy to actually meet you. But what I'm saying, this is actually a real problem. When you talk about scalability, it's easy. But how do we get them to scale? So this is where you need a lot of platform like this so that we can find who you are and you understand our particular business. Because, you know, when you go to big corporations like another startups, and then that's one. And secondly, when you work with big corporations, when you talk about scalability, is the policy of the procurement. So usually big companies, they have all the record and stuff like that. It's easier for us to get them to be on our vendor program. But we realize that, you know, as you know, startups, you always bootstrap, I understand. But what I'm saying, we as a state agency or as somebody who has the power to influence the policy, we need to be a little bit more flexible, not breaking the governance, but flexible when you deal with startups. So we have been doing a pilot project so that we can actually get the startup closer to us. It's a cyber security startups. So they came to us and said, hey, we don't have certain capital for us to put in, we don't have enough money in our bank statement. So this is where the leadership team, together with the policy team and the governance team, have to come together and tweak it a little bit so that we are a bit more flexible, or else they would not be able to scale because they don't have our stamp. So there's actually two things. Scalability, we understand you have to make sure that first you have a clear relationship with your potential clients, and secondly, from our side, the policy makers, to be a bit more flexible when you deal with startups. Then the objective of scalability, to get even more finance from people like you and you to actually give money, or else there's no question of scalability. So that's where I'm coming from, 2 points. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Zihan, please.
Yes, from Cradle, right? And Amy shared a little bit about the innovation and the role of state governments, right, or governments in ecosystem building, and so forth. Cradle is a federal agency, so we play on the national level. You can view us more or less like a busybody role, right? We bridge ecosystems. So Amy was talking about that gap between corporates and the ecosystem out there. But as Cradle, we have a couple of mandates. We offer seed capital, risk capital to early stage startups who are starting to build your prototype, to go and test the market. And we also provide another grant, which is called Spark, where we allow you some money to go to commercialize and go to market. Our mandate has extended a little bit since last year to take up the role of the focal point agency in Malaysia to facilitate the entire startup value chain or life cycle. So, and therefore, we play that busybody role of ecosystem development, bridging between the investors, the VCs, the corporates, the GLCs, and everybody, right, trying to build these ecosystems and try to get them to work closely together. Just to share, I think the color doesn't look that great. I hope, okay, it's good over here, it's bad on the TV. And if you can see, Cradle's involvement, throughout the entire life cycle, right? From early stage where we provide risk capital, right? In the mid stage, we provide facilitation, capacity building, and towards the later stage, to scale, to access, and to reach out to corporates, GLCs, state governments, and so on and so forth. And this is just a snapshot, right? It's not exhaustive. Landscape of all the ecosystem players in Malaysia, and we work with all of them. Again, not exhaustive, and we're still constantly expanding and also trying to reach out to more people, so to speak. So that's about all I have for now. Do you have questions, I guess?
Yes, actually, it's a time for a stupid question. Actually, I just want you guys to just provide some context, because I'd like to learn on behalf of the audience. So you talked about, Zihan, you talked about the life cycle of ventures. And my understanding is that your organization is in charge or focused on the beginning part of the life cycle, and Amy's organization is focused on the later stage. Is that right? Is that a fair statement?
Okay. Let me give you some very depressing data. I was given the opportunity to architect the venture capital roadmap for Malaysia. That was the first time that we launched a venture capital roadmap, just because of one reason. Across the Southeast Asia, our contribution as a venture capital to GDP practically non-existent. Malaysia at 0.19%, Singapore at 2.3%. So it's a very small player. I mean, as much as you keep on talking about it, you're not as big as SME. We understand that. So that's one. So in Malaysia particularly, only 8.1% of our total VC funding, which is USD 758 million, went to early stage. So it means for investor who usually across the Southeast Asia, looking at Series A and above, we miss the early stage, which is what Zihan and the team is practically doing, but they don't fund, they give grant, which is okay too. So when you don't invest in early stage, this is where the government intervention is much needed because it's high risk, right? So who else going to spend money? Maybe not GLC, not private. So it's government who has to come and play at this game, which is okay. So if we don't have enough funnel for the early stage, we will not have enough funnel for people like you, investors, to invest in the later stage because they love to play the later stage because of the lower risk. So this is where people like Zihan or people like me, the state, come in and take a little bit more risk than the private sectors because it's somehow interesting to see how South Korea from 80% government-funded VC went down to only 20%. Because if you watch Korean movie, the Chaebol, the Samsung, the Hyundai, they came together and formed an alliance, 43 of them, and helped push this industry. But it worked differently across Southeast Asia or Indonesia especially. Their VC is actually led by the high net worth family. So you need more private sector to play and a balance of a government support. Yeah, that's where we're coming from. You need to focus maybe and take higher risk for an early stage startups.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to Celine and Paddy's segment. And you are going to focus on, we are going to focus on boutique VC firms' vision for the blue economy. Celine, please.
Hi again, everyone. So I put a slide on the verticals because that's a question I get a lot. What is your mandate? Is what I do part of the investment scope of your fund? So that's why I put it here. But if I take one step back, I think like entrepreneurs, when they're looking for funding, of course, it's a hard job, right? You have to differentiate, like all of us are very different, to present ourselves. So we are a small company. It's owned by 2 people. We are at 50-50. We can make decisions fast. We make the decision if we invest. The investment committee is made of 2 people. And let me take also a step back about what is Norway. So it is part of 10 Power 9. So we set up this company, this Singaporean investment company, 10 Power 9, which means actually 1 billion. We created it because we wanted to have a positive impact on 1 billion people. So that's actually the goal of the company. And Now Ventures is only one fund, and it's focused on the blue economy. But we don't want to be a traditional VC. I've been working in VC before. I've been 8 years in China. I've been working with startups, supporting startups, and linking them with investors, sometimes companies I was representing myself, since 2010. And so now it's my time to create a company where I hope I can change things for the better. So what we are doing, well, what we're trying to do is really to work with you, to work with the startups, with the entrepreneurs, with the UN, with many other partners, so that we can change things. And that's where I think people here in the room are extremely courageous, because you could easily go to a corporate job and sell your time, then have more family time and probably less stress and a higher pay. But I guess what brings us all together today is that we can see the gap between what we see in the world. We've heard many statistics this morning, and we know many more, right? And what we hope to see, what is going to happen in 20 years, in 50 years, what are going to leave to our kids, what is going to be like in the next generation, how are we going to be remembered? And what I think a lot, like many times a day, is how our society today is going to be seen later in several centuries. So many people say it's now the turning point, right? And it's quite difficult for us, right? Because sometimes it feels like we are so little. Like impact investing only represents 2% of global AUM. So it feels like you have this huge wave coming at you. And we are too small. So I don't really believe in competition. We don't have enough VC blue economy investors. And I also think that our system is maybe a bit too old. Like, we are not in the 20th century anymore. It's not the beginning of VC. And so what I'm trying to do here is to work with all of you. So that's why I put it so big. I would like to be in contact with you. I would like to hear your story. And I'm very interested also in who you are and what you want to do. Like, we are not only interested in investing in the 2% best startups and to only support financially the considered best one from a financial point of view. Today is the PPP, profit, planet, people. So that's really the basics. And yeah, I believe also it's not only financial return. So I've been so long in this industry that I've seen many entrepreneurs' friends were told by VCs they are going to be exceptional and remembered in history. And they tell their family that they are going to stop living for 2 or 3 years. And I've also studied psychology. And so I want people to be strong. I want people to be successful in private life and in professional life. Because we need more of you. We need more people like you who are taking the risk to change for something positive. So that's why, yes, I'm here representing Nawal, but there are many more things that we can do. And so we are also working on some other partnerships, other programs in the pipeline. So come and find me, and I would love to get you involved. And I would love to hear about Vera as well, because it's going to be very important for the blue carbon. Many researchers I work with are asking about blue carbon. So I would like to stop here, leave some time for others.
Patty, please. Thank you. Patty, please.
Yeah, so Mana Impact, I started the company in 2018, and we focus on supporting different stakeholders and mobilize capital to create both financial and impact into their portfolio. So we started actually focusing on SDG number 14, so life underwater. And the more we started to, delve into it and understand the drivers of ocean pollution, we actually started to see that a lot of it actually comes from the land. And so while our starting point is definitely the ocean, we started to really understand that actually these two ecosystems are really intertwined, and it's, ultimately one planet. So we support family offices and foundations with, it's really important for us to understand the strategy. We look for actually systems change. So very much resonate with what Celine talked about. VC capital is just one type of tool in the toolkit. And for the blue economy, especially in our region where a lot of the sectors are still fledgling, it's not always the right toolkit. And so what we really focus on is, being able to mobilize and deploy different types of capital stacks at the different stages of a company. And so in addition to the strategy will help us understand what are the risk profiles, what are the financial types of returns, and what are the, impact returns that, we should be baselining and driving towards. So then, we also pretty much act as an outsourced sort of investment team to conduct the due diligence, the impact assessment, and then also manage the portfolio. So writing the check is just the beginning of the journey. Actually, the big question is how do we exit, and how do we make sure that the companies grow, and as also Celine mentioned, that the founders are in a, also have this inner strength and overall well-being. So interestingly, the areas within the blue economy that we are focusing on are quite similar to the ones on the challenge or the innovators that were just identified. One area is aquaculture, so very related to food. The other is plastics avoidance and nature-based solutions as well. So we both look at opportunities into direct investments in companies, as well as opportunities in funds, as well as everything in between. So we're also diving a little bit into sort of blended capital tools. So yeah, so that's a little bit in a nutshell of what we do.
Great.
Back to you.
Thank you. I actually loved Patty's question that she sent me. So let me just start with that question. What are some of the main tips, advice you would provide blue economy innovators when raising capital? And I'm going to have Celine answer the same question. And actually, I might ask the rest of the panelists to ask the same. So I encourage you to think of your answers, except for Vera, because Vera is not going to give you advice on investment. So Patty, go ahead. Yeah, I'd like you to answer this question.
I guess one thing I would say is that most, I think, startups, founders will chase for big names, and that makes sense to a certain level. But I think that it's really important for the companies or founders to also do the homework and to not just to look for the name or to look for the capital in itself. Once the investor is on your cap table, it's going to be a very long, sort of like a marriage, a long-term partnership. So you want to make sure that this is the right partner that brings along beyond just financial capital, other types of values, and that they will be, strategic aligned with you and not pushing you towards a certain direction, right? Probably, the latest sort of story, e-fishery, I wonder whether that has been a bit, some of the reasons were whether investors were the right type of investors in the cap table, but that's another sort of conversation. Happy to have it offline. And so I would just say also don't be shy to sort of also ask, the investors the type of questions, because I think sometimes there can be some sort of like power dynamic where you feel like you have to sort of bend backwards and all that. So ask the right questions just to make sure that the alignment is there in the long term. So don't be just looking for short-term objectives of raising the capital. So that would be my, number one advice, long-term partnership.
Celine?
Yeah, can I jump in? I totally agree with Patty. So most people come to us because they really want money, desperate about raising, and we want to be so much more. So yes, of course, we want to provide funding. We know SDG 14 is the less funded SDG. We see too often blue economy startups die, or they cannot be startups, so they turn into foundation. So of course, we know funding is important, but it's not the only thing. I believe that even like we can bring much more. Like, don't hesitate to ask us. So if we are doing this job, it's because we love the impact we can have. We are researching and reading about the industry and the sectors and the market. We have this contact to corporates, with governments. So we really want to understand the gap, and we can help more than only with funding.
Thank you. Actually, let me just ask the first 7 panelists the same next question. Sorry, before Kazuki, right? I'm going to have you pick what is the most important of the following 3 options. 1, capital preservation, and 2, financial return over, let's say, 20% per annum, and 3, social and environmental impact. Out of the 3, what is your number 1 key factor, driver. Okay, so I will just quickly have you raise your hand. Okay, remember? Vera, Wayne, you don't need to answer. But you can actually, you can make your own choice. Okay, so 1, capital preservation. 2, financial return, over 20% per year. And 3, social and environmental impact. Raise your hand if capital preservation is the first and most important criterion.
It doesn't have to be first one, second one. Like, for example, for us, we only look at startups
But
that
I'm
are
just-
sustainability driven.
This is the exercise. Let's just have you just pick one. Most important, capital preservation, financial return, social impact, okay? Raise your hand if you think capital preservation is the most important variable. Good. Now, financial return. Okay. Social and environmental impact. Great, thank you. So everyone feel encouraged. I mean, of course, if you're a home run hitter, please go for a highest return. Of course, the return is important. Okay, that's it. Let's go to Kazuki Marubeni.
Yes. Okay, let me just introduce our Marubeni group. It's a quite brief explanation. Marubeni is again Japanese conglomerate which is established in more than 160 years ago. When we established our Marubeni group, our business was the trading of the textile. After that, we expanded the business portfolio to the food, consumer business, and energy. For example, like in Indonesia, we are operating some power generation facilities also. Actually, the business portfolio is too complex for me to explain all. So just see this slide, and we pick up some key figures here. We have more than 100 branch offices all over the world, and also have branch offices in each ASEAN countries also. Including me, from headquarters, mainly the Japanese guy. Anyway, more than 100 people are stationed in ASEAN countries, including me. And for today, related to today's event, we are doing the food business, including the seafood exportation to Japan, and also we have to tackle the concerns related to the blue economy situations. So today we are really happy to be here and discuss with startups. And for example, like I'm forestry division, and Marubeni groups are operating it's not directly related to blue economy, but we are operating the industrial forestry here in Indonesia, South Sumatra. And also we are supplying the safe and stable water to certain countries. So yeah, so blue economy is kind of not a business sector. I mean, all the business resources are always related to ocean or water resources. So yeah, so our business, some business are directly tackling to the blue economy issues, but I feel like no business are not related to the blue economy. So Marubeni groups are trying to challenge each concerns. And sorry, let me back to the first page. This is the Marubeni Group's company theme, the global cross-value platform. As a result of our long history, we are having many offices all over the world, people all over the world, business all over the world. And Marubeni is thinking the issues are getting more and more complex and quite difficult to solve these issues with one solution. Maybe we need to collaborate each solution over each areas, each person, and Marubeni would like to act as a global cross-value platform. So today, we would like to hear from all startups and just use Marubeni as a platform to tackle your challenges or your concerns. Okay, yeah, that's all from
Thank you, Kazuki.
Marubeni.
Okay, so now we have the last speaker is Wing from Vera, and Vera brings a very interesting perspective to this panel because I understand lots of innovators are interested in eventually issuing carbon credits or plastic waste management credits, and Vera is the world's biggest standard. And let's hear from Win.
Thanks, Take. So I have the opportunity to read through some of the projects last weekend before I come to this panel. Just want to understand what I'm looking at. But most of the projects have clearly expressed that to implement their projects or to scale up the project, funding is the issues. Now, we heard of other panelists about loans, green loans, investments from VC, for example. There is also another pathway to finance your project for long-term periods. So that's why this slide here, which is simplified. If your project proposed activities will lead to greenhouse gas emission reductions or removal, and your impact can be measured in tons of CO2 equivalents, then potentially your project can generate carbon credits. On the other hand, if your project doesn't have the carbon component or is not that strong in the carbon component, but you're looking at more of conservation, nature's conservation of wildlife, for example, or marine ecosystems, then your impact, if it can be measured in quality hectares, then potentially we have another instrument for you to consider, which is the nature's credits. Last one, if your activities is something to do with plastic collections and recycling, and it can be measured in metric tons, you could consider the plastic credits pathway. And in a nutshell, these are what we call financial instruments, where private sectors, private corporates who doesn't necessarily have the expertise to carry out these projects or the bandwidth, but they can choose to invest in projects that successfully carry out those activities, and those activities are verified according to the international guidance and best practices. So, if you think about long-term financing, this could be another pathway, especially if you think about hiring more of your staff, you're scaling out, for example, the area you want to plant a mangrove. This could be options. I have to go back to my earlier slide so that it gives you a context. But not all activities automatically qualify to issues or generate these financial instruments. You must have what we call standards or methodologies that outlines the activities, that tells you how to quantify them. So that's where standards such as Vera comes in. Also, Vera also set the requirements and rules that the projects must be able to meet or fulfill before those projects can indeed generate those credits. So in another sense, standard setters are also the certifiers. The process might be different among the standards, but the concept similar. And finally, we work with governments, businesses, NGOs, civil societies to use these standards and programs as an alternative, but sustainable financing pathway for you to consider. That is my content in a nutshell. Back to you, Take.
Thank you, Win. Win, let me just start with you. I know some of you guys are interested in issuing carbon credits or plastic credits in the future, but Win, simply, is it easy to issue carbon credits or plastic credits? Does it take a long time to issue credits? And if it takes a long time, why?
We have to talk about a little bit of the natures of the carbon credits, and I love the analogy by another panelist that I listened in. Carbon credits or plastic credit, these are intangible. You can't grab them, you can't see them. It's in the air. It's a concept. So to be able to generate them, you must have very vigorous process. But otherwise, we are just letting projects to print up money. That's not what we want. We want to make sure that impacts are verifiable and truly impactful. So the requirements are strict. Is it easy? No, it's not. Does it take time? Yes, it depends on the project type, but tech-based project or plastic project can take a year from the conceptualization, probably another 2 or 3 years before you can issue credit. So it's not today, you get into it, you can get carbon credits or nature's credits right away. But financing, we're talking about long terms. Most of the tech-based project, you can issue a minimum 7 years. That can be renewed up to 21 years. Nature-based project, minimally, you have 20 years of credit that you can issue from your project. That can renew 4 times, which means up to 100 years. We're talking about 4 or 5 generations of financings potentials here.
Great, thank you, great answer. Kazuki, along the same lines, I understand that Marubeni invests in carbon projects as well. I don't know if you can answer this question, but what carbon projects are you looking to invest in? And if you are in the blue economy space, are you also looking to a fund or invest in some type of carbon projects or plastic projects?
Yes, Marubeni is also challenging the carbon credit and carbon credit generation. For example, like we are now operating the industrial forestry in Indonesia, and also try to utilize our know-hows for the other countries, for example, like Philippines, Malaysia. So yeah, if I refer the comment from Mr. Tan, I say that we are really good at dealing the forestry material itself. We can blow up them. We know how to treat them. But for the credit issues, there are many challenges. Of course, the challenges of the market side, system side, and also the measurement is also the concern, actually, I would say. We can, what kind of function should we apply for the calculation, or how we issue the evidence for the, so many issues. So it's a quite difficult to answer the Take-san's question. But yes, we have to do. Yes, we have to do. But there are many technical challenges and system challenges, and so many challenges are there. So what we expect to collaborate with startups is, to make an initiative with Marubeni or other government or entities to what is the challenge, what is the hard barrier to make this market more active like that. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, it's really unfortunate, but we are running out of time. But I would highly encourage the awardees, ABIC winners, and everybody else to come talk to the wonderful panelists after the panel. And I mean, there's so much to discuss, right? So much to learn from them. And let me just wrap up with this question. I'd like everyone to think about this question. How do you think future historians would define this century? Right? How do you think future historians will think about or define this century? Okay, I'd love to hear your answers, but since we don't have the time, so I'm going to just share my humble opinion. I believe this century will be remembered as an era of human resilience. And innovation is one key driver that will help shape such a future. Humans will innovate one step at a time, and ABIC winners are at the forefront of such innovation. And everyone, let's do our part to support their innovation. And please give a big round of applause to the fantastic panelists. Thank you so much, everyone.
Check. Very much, Sake-san. And to all speakers, thank you very much. If you would just join us on the front of the stage, we'll have a photo session with all our speakers. Once again, let's give a round of applause to all our speakers and also to our moderator, Take-san. Thank you very much. Now, everyone, we're going to take a huge group photo to all our 60 groups of innovators. If you would just stand up and join us here at the front of the stage, we will take a picture from the stage. To everyone there. So our speakers, please take center stage. To our innovators, all the 60 groups, if you would just rise and also join us here. Do we still have all 60 groups here? I think some of them have started to walk through their booths. And also we'd like to invite our project partners and also the prominent business partners and investors as well, if you may rise from your seats for the photo session. Our photographers will be taking the stage and take your picture from here. Because this is a group photo, we'd like to invite everyone, also the innovators, please join us here in front of the stage. Dapat semua? Dapat ya? Okay. So just make sure we'll take it from a high angle, so to be sure that we get everyone. Okay, let's just prepare everyone here. Have we got everyone? All the innovators? All our investors, if you may rise, also join us in a group photo. Okay, if we're ready, I hope our cameras can get everyone. Okay, if we're ready, let's take a picture in 3, 2, 1. I'm hearing that the smiles are not big enough, so a bigger smile, everyone. So let's do that once again in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now they want a video, so what should we say in the video? Blue economy? As I count in 3, 2, 1. Blue economy. That's not a thing, is it? So we could just say hi to the camera because they're probably gonna mute it anyway. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, are we ready for the video? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's say hi to the camera. Hello, blue economy. Okay, one more time. to be sure that everyone gets in the picture. 3, 2, 1. Let's wave to the camera, everyone, and say hi to the camera. All right, thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause to everyone here. Thank you so much, especially to our speakers. To our innovators, you may now head to your booths as you prepare at your booths. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the Pitch Fest session, it's time for a lunch break. You may have your lunch at the designated dining area, which is located at the front of this hall. Now, a few remarks just before we close this first session. We recommend you to take the tour of the Expo area right there at the bottom of, in front of this hall. And the Pitch Fest session will start at 1 p.m. sharp at the designated breakout rooms. There will be 3 rooms for the Pitch Fest, and you may directly enter the room starting at 12:50. And please do gather once again in this room at 4 p.m. or 4:20 p.m. latest for the announcement and closing session. We hope that you have a very fruitful discussion and pitch fest today, and we hope you do get to meet your investors, and investors, you do get to meet the projects that you've been very much waiting for and been excited for. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a very effective day today. Enjoy the Pitch Fest, enjoy your lunch, and we'll see you again later on at 1 p.m. Thank you very much.